So, Dr. J, have you given any thought to my offer?
Look, when I had him tossed into Arkham, it was just to mess with him for stabbing me in the back. I don't want anything serious to happen to him, like getting disemboweled or something.
What you want at this point is irrelevant. All I know is that I could use some $20 million right now, and capturing an internet reviewer will be as easy as pie. The number, that is, not the pastry.
The number pie isn't easy.
Maybe not for a moron like you, but in any case. You should have the item that I supplied you with. Use it, and Mr. Laser Dude. And by the way, does he really spell laser with a Z instead of an S?
It's Z, not Z. The Americans got it wrong. Crown for the win. But, yeah, he spells it with a Z.
Is that a Canadian thing?
Nope. It's... I don't know, maybe he failed grammar and doesn't tell anyone.
$20 million for this one. Anyways, a full dose of that should have him knocked out within 3 days. At best, it will give me time to collect him, and at worst, it will kill him. Either way, he will not be reviewing any more comic books, which means, even if he does run away, the bounty will still be valid.
Why, pray tell, should I help you?
Well, if you don't, then I'll tell the Laser Dude that it was you who got him sent to the asylum in the first place. Play your part well, Dr. J. I'll be in touch.
Hey, Dr. J, how's it going?
Terrorist!
Whoa! It's me!
Oh. I told you look like a terrorist!
Winter
Soldier wannabe?
Check my head, I guess the joke's on me. Whoa, I'm not laughing at the irony. Oh no.
And so, after I defeated Shiva, I got my gun out of the water, and then I hitchhiked my way here.
You lead an interesting life, my friend.
No kidding.
So, can't get you anything to drink?
Nah, it's alright, I'm good. Oh, I should probably get on with this review anyway.
So, you really think the Joker's gonna keep up his end of the bargain? He didn't do it last time.
Well, I guess he kind of did, you know, he still got me out. It was just because of his sick, twisted logic that it didn't really went the way I wanted to go, which probably is going to be the same for this time. Either way, it just helps me get my mind off my troubles.
So what's the plan for tonight, Brain?
Joker.
What about the Clown Prince of Crime?
No, I mean, the book that we're reviewing today is Joker, written by Brian Azzarello and art by Lee Bermejo.
Dear Lordy, that looks terrifying.
Shut up. Alright, let's dive into Brian Azzarello's Joker. This story follows the Joker after he has been released from Arkham Asylum. Nobody knows how he got it arranged for himself to be released, but the truth is, he is. And while the Joker is the focus of the story, the character who we are following is not the Joker. In fact, throughout the story, we are looking at it through the eyes of a low-level thug by the name of Johnny Frost. Frost volunteers to pick up the Joker from Arkham. Joker takes a liking to Frost, and as the story continues, we see that while the Joker used to run the criminal underworld, in his absence it had all been taken over by two-bit thugs, leaving the Joker with next to nothing. And as Joker walks the streets of Gotham once again a free man, he is also very determined to get all of it back, and Johnny wants to help him. Let me say this clearly. This book is not for children. I mean, my gosh, this book is so dark and twisted. I mean, there's stuff that happens in here that left me like really thinking like, ugh. And it makes me think because you got so many different things like video games and movies that have ratings board, M for mature, R, NC-17, whatever. But in, you know, books and graphic novels and comics, we don't have any rating system. There is no rating. So that is just so weird considering how some of these books are way more twisted than any video game.
Why you want to buy a child a book with that cover is beyond me.
Anyway. However, don't get me wrong, dark does not mean bad. I, for one, love this book. It is dark in all the right ways, twisted in all the right places, and shows the Joker at his best and at his worst. As I said, while this story is about the Joker, we are not seeing it through his eyes, which is a good thing because Joker is a homicidal psychopath and is impossible to relate to. I mean, he's an unending force of death and destruction and chaos. Who can relate to that?
Die! Die! Fall! Let the rats consume thy flesh and spread the plague!
Not a lot of people. Anyway, my point is that it's impossible to find someone like the Joker relatable unless you were crazy yourself. So instead, we are looking at Joker through the eyes of somebody else. Johnny Frost is a character that you would buy him getting involved with the Joker. He is a nobody with aspirations of being part of the big leagues, and the supervillains of Gotham, like the Joker, are as big as you can get. We see him justify every wrong thing that he does throughout this story, and while he is selfish and by all accounts a horrible person, with him being the lesser of two evils compared to the Joker, it is easy to kind of see where he's coming from. Joker is definitely not a book that shies away from the violence. In fact, one of its more frightening images comes very early in the book, where a man who used to work for the Joker invites him back into the fold and throws a party for him. Joker goes along with it, everything is going great, and then when all of his men are too drunk to fight, Joker takes the boss backstage and takes off his skin and throws him onto the pole in front of everyone. It is scary stuff whenever Joker walks into a room. The tiniest thing can set him off. But while he may be crazy, when he does walk into the room, every single person is intimidated by him. Heck, they're scared to death of him. And that is the power that Frost is attracted to, but also craves that one day he will have power like that for himself. The art in this book is absolutely fantastic. It is an art style that I think works better for this book than it did back when these same writer and artist wrote the book Lex Luthor Man of Steel. Now, while I will say that's not a bad book, it's one that I don't really care for a whole lot. Partially because I don't think the art really fits the style. You know, this style is really dark and gritty, and that really fits this book being about the Joker. The art in this book is so dirty and graphic that it completely fits the story. Joker's design is very Ledger-esque, with the scars on his face. However, surprisingly, this might not be a ripoff of Ledger's Joker design. It actually might be the other way around. There has been concept art with the Joker looking like this going back all the way back to 2006, which would be well before The Dark Knight came out. Brian Azzarello says that they might have saw this and took inspiration from it, but I don't know, it feels a little bit too coincidental that this book came out the very same year after The Dark Knight was released. But in any case, the design does look very good with this art. One of the more interesting designs is the design of Killer Croc. I mean, because look at all the other villains. They're not too much a departure what they normally look, with a little bit tweaks here and there. But instead of Croc looking like a reptile, he looks just like a gangster with leathery skin and sharp teeth. I get why they did this choice. It's because since they are trying to make this a more gritty and realistic world with supervillains, you would have to make Croc more human and just give him a few features to show that he would get that nickname. I would say the designs in all of the characters work very well, although the Riddler does look less like a genius in this book and more like a junkie. Azzarello says he wanted to make him look cool, but I think that is really disrespectful to the character. I mean, the Riddler is already cool. He doesn't need to look like some whacked hipster. I mean, does this really look like the Riddler to you?
Well, I should say not.
Huh?
Yeah, that's nothing like the Riddler. At all. BRB. What do you think you're doing? Trying to ruin everything?
No more excuses. I don't care if he's thirsty or not. Get him something to drink, and eventually he will be.
Listen here, you pompous douche. I'll do this my way. It will happen. Or I may just F you over.
And that is the most important point. If you guys take one thing away from this review, let it be what I just said, okay? Mind-blowing, isn't it?
Drink.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. All right, now...
Drink.
No, I'm good for now, but... Anyway, one of my complaints about this book is the complete waste of a character, and that one being Harley Quinn. She doesn't even speak once in this whole story. Not only does she not speak, she doesn't even get a dialogue balloon. I mean, why use Harley Quinn if she doesn't even get a line of dialogue? You know, I thought at first maybe they went real dark with this. I mean, what if Joker cut out her tongue and she's still sticking with him? I mean, that could have been real dark and real twisted, but we see in this panel that her tongue is fine. So it really comes across to me as a waste of a character. In an interview with IGN, Azzarello said that he played her against type, but I do think there's a difference between playing against type and not playing her at all. She is still Joker's loyal sidekick and will do whatever he says, but in this book she never says a line, and we never get an idea as to why. And really, if you took her out and replaced her with another thug, very little would change in the story. One of the other things that really bothered me at first when I read this book is why was the Joker always calling the Penguin Abner and not Oswald? It drove me nuts. I'm good, thanks. I kept on trying to find a reason why the Joker was calling the Penguin Abner. Was it a different version of the Penguin? Was it an old one that was from the original draft? Was it something that was a mistake in the 60s Batman show? I couldn't find anything. That is until I found an interview that IGN Comics did with Brian Azzarello. And in the interview, the guy asks, I need to ask you this next question because it stuck with me and my editor. And we don't know if we were missing the reference or what. Why does the Joker call the Penguin Abner? Oh, why not? That wasn't a joke or a reference I missed? No, it's just a form of disrespect. If that was the case, shouldn't you have had a panel explaining that to the audience? Or, showed that other people called him Oswald and just the Joker called him Abner? It's very confusing because for a fan like me, I start reading this and I say, okay, this looks like the Penguin, but he's calling him Abner, so he's not the Penguin. Then you look at it and you're like, no, it has to be the Penguin because he looks exactly like the Penguin. Then you gotta wonder, well, wait a minute, if he's the Penguin, why is he calling him Abner and not Oswald? And then you really are confused. And you start looking at the Penguin's history to see if he was originally called Abner, and that just drives you nuts. If you're gonna do that, just to have the Joker call him Abner for a form of disrespect, you gotta fill us in on the joke. It just confuses people, and since this guy and his editor didn't know what was going on, I'm just glad that I wasn't the only one confused. The one thing that this book does really well is explaining how the Joker feels about Batman. Joker looks at Batman like he is the only one worthy to pass judgment on the Joker. And there is this not so subtle moment when Joker is looking up to see if Batman is there, and we see a reflection of the church cross over his face, showing that to Joker, Batman is the god waiting to pass judgment out on any moment. And he is in a state where he almost wants him to. After a moment where he kills a mob boss, he walks out and yells out to the sky if that isn't good enough for him, and that he will do more. He even empties out all of the bullets in his gun except for one, spins it around, puts it in his mouth and pulls the trigger. It's kind of his way of mocking God. Joker is called a disease all throughout this book, a disease that has infected every corner of Gotham, and how in the end Johnny comes to the conclusion that there is no cure for disease, only a Batman there to fight it. Even though this is not an Elseworlds story officially, it definitely must take place in a different world than the regular DC universe. One of the reasons that this story has to be an Elseworlds-like story is the fact that regular Joker has no interest in organized crime, money, or even power at all. Normal Joker is all about chaos. He would just as soon burn a pile of money than steal it. But with this being said, this is a different type of Joker. We can see how the Joker would run a criminal underworld while staying true to the Joker character. Azzarello has said that this book isn't about supervillains, it's about criminals and how he uses the personas of these supervillains that stays true to the characters, but in this book, Joker is wanting to be a crime lord. True, this doesn't make him a regular Joker that we always look at, but it does make for an interesting alternate take on the Joker as a character. And it isn't like he doesn't feel or act like the Joker does, it's just that his motivations are different from regular Joker. One of the things that I really find interesting with this book is the Joker's hatred of apologies. We see in the beginning saying that Joker tells Frost never to apologize for the way you look. But in the end, the thing he hates more than anything else is apologies. Near the end of the book, when Frost realizes what a mistake he has made by working with the Joker, he confesses to the Joker that he is actually sorry for all the horrible things that he has done. And Joker says, out of everything, the one thing he hates more than anything else is apologies. And right there that you see the Joker can't even comprehend regretting his actions. Joker can't even fathom the thought of saying you're sorry for something you've done. That to him is insanity. To be compassionate, to be regretful of your past actions. That to Joker is utter anarchy and chaos, and the only real way to live is to just go all out, never regretting a decision you've ever made. And we like Frost at the end, mostly because even though he's a guy who does horrible, horrible things, in the end of the story, he is actually sincerely sorry for the things he's done. And then you compare that to the Joker, who absolutely hates the idea of actually saying the word sorry, of actually regretting anything. He hates that very idea, the very nature of it, and that is something both interesting and why we need someone like Frost as our main character. You know, the simple fact that you are sorry for something horrible that you have done is enough to humanize any character. In any case, I think that Joker, written by Brian Azzarello with art done by Lee Bermejo, is a truly great book. It's unlike any other Batman book, mostly because of the fact that Batman doesn't even show up until the last 18 pages of this book. But it has a great conclusion, fantastic artwork, interesting variations on Batman's villains, and this is one of the definite Joker stories that I think any comic book fan should read. And so, it gets a 9 out of 10 from me. This book is so good. There are still things that I noticed on my most recent viewing of the book that I've never noticed before. And it's just that type of book that you just want to keep on reading it, even though it's long come to its end. So remember, everybody, I'm LazyDude99, and if I don't like it...
Wait! Just no. No.
What?
No. I've got to tell you something, man.
Okay, what?
He's going to tell you how.
Quiet, you twat! Yeah, I was doing the part-time work at Arkham last year.
Yeah, what about it?
Didn't I tell you before? How did the clown manage to get you into a maximum security prison with...
Stay quiet!
He is trying to tell you that...
I had a hand in tossing you into Arkham Asylum.
What are you talking about, you... Oh... Now it all makes sense. Now it all fits together. I always wondered how the Joker got me into the asylum, and I always thought, he's the Joker, he can get me in anywhere, right? But then now I realize he had an inside man.
Now, if you just let me explain, it's kind of a funny story. You see, there's this Craigslist ad, and I just figured that
It was called Insane. I shared a cell with a psychopath. I was in an insane asylum. I have a $30 million bounty on my head. I've had the most dangerous psychopaths in the world chasing me, and it's all your fault.
Well, yeah, you stabbed me in the back. How else am I going to get you back?
Oh yes, I'm sure it all evens out. I stabbed you a little bit in the back once for a joke, and then you had me thrown into an insane asylum, shot, stabbed, and not only that, I now have deadly assassins all over the world wanting to kill me. And to put it on the cherry on the top of all this, I did that in a video that nobody really saw because it's blocked in North America, and 90% of my audience is in North America. So let's get this straight, all straight here. You betrayed me all over being stabbed with a little dull knife for a video that nobody even saw?
Deal with it. That nerd took my gun.
Get back here! You don't have anywhere to run, Doc. What are you doing?
This is a good combat stance. I have 3 Metal Gear Solid games to prove it. Of course, I'm not Snake, so...
Round 1. Fight!
It was my turn! Give me a minute, I'll kick your butt. Falcon! 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 Rock, paper, scissors! Rock, paper, scissors!
Stop. Just go. Beat it.
Why? I'm winning, I think.
No, you're not. I don't think any of us are winning. The Riddler's probably called in the Joker by now. Skedaddle. Go away.
How can I trust you?
Why wouldn't you? Who gave you a place to stay?
Alright.
No, get.
Okay.
I'd give you my gun if you didn't take it away.
Okay. I'm sorry I stabbed you in the back.
I'm sorry I sent you to an insane asylum.
Okay. Ready? You can be a real jerk sometimes.
I know. Now get.
You know, for a nice Christian family, they watch a whole lot of Walking Dead.
Uh-huh. You know what I was thinking?
Ugh, here we go.
What if we're the good guys and Batman's the bad one?
How does that figure into your mind?
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, we're sticking it to the man. We're breaking from the mold.
We're waiting outside somebody's house so we can kidnap him.
It's just a thought.
Yeah, whatever. Whoa, what was that?
I don't know, man.
Well, go and look. Jeez.
Come up, wherever you are. Where are you? I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Earth? You know, Joker always taught me to expect the unexpected. My secret weapon. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo!
What is that idiot doing? What the? Who's out there? Whoever you are! I'm not even interested in the reviewer! You know, if you were, we could split the money and 50-50 or 60-40 or... Hey, I'll even take 10%. You know, I don't care about the money. You take it, okay? I'm not even that concerned. Do we have a deal?
Sorry, he's a crowd.